This is a Rogue Media Network production.
Stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas, the prairie skies are wide and high. Deep in the heart of Texas, deep in the heart of Texas.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Hello.
How are you?
What's up, man? So
not much. We're here.
Last weekend you were in a hurricane.
Yeah. Well, it was a pretty bad storm, and I was in a not good area to be in a bad storm. Pretty much is what it boils down to. I was on the coast, and I was on an island off the coast. So the island off the coast particularly doesn't do too well whenever there's torrential downpours. And I've actually never been on that island when there's been that bad of a storm, except for, well, once during childhood. The island I'm talking about is one of the most historic cities in Texas, actually. First electricity, first newspaper, first telegraph machines, also one of the largest ports at one time in the United States. Now it's adjacent to one of the largest ports in the United States as Houston took over that deal. But yeah, we're on the island of Galveston.
Yeah. How was the water? The water good?
I'm not a big ocean water guy. I don't go to the beach for the ocean. I'm an island boy. I was born on an island. I'm used to like that.
You need to be like one
I don't know if we're gonna do that. I don't know if I'm going that far. But yeah, so I'm drawn to the sea, I guess, being from a seafaring people. So I just like going for that. You know, I like to go a few times a year to just go be by the beach, be by the ocean. So
I have
water looks okay, I suppose.
I'm drawn to a computer, not the ocean. Last week I made my buddy Casey and we made an app with vibe coding, which was nuts. And then this week I've been working on a booking system through vibe coding, getting it to do all the things for me. I was a poo-pooer of all this stuff, but good Lord, that is the way to code right there.
Oh yeah, it's out of control, the technology these days. Yeah.
Well, I started thinking I think I've been looking at this wrong. I think I've been looking at it to give me output when it should really take care of infrastructure type stuff.
You know, it's more about your input than it is the output for sure.
Yeah, like I shouldn't be relying on their voices. I shouldn't be relying on it to write everything. But when it comes to like coding and things like that, oh yeah, why not? You're not stealing from anybody at that point, you know?
Coding for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, you're not talking about using a bunch of art that's been used a million times. You're not talking about stealing somebody else's idea or anything. You're just talking about AI helping you code. And I know this is really not probably what you guys tuned in for, but
probably not, but it's all good.
It did all the back end database work and everything. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know you could go that far with it. I knew you could do a lot of stuff with it, but I saw this new one. I guess it's Google's AI where people are constructing video games with it.
I don't doubt it. I'm gonna try once I finish with this one. And basically, and I know you guys know this, but we moved all of our studios out of the Alico. We still have offices in the Alico, but we moved all our studios independently, and we're building things. It's a perfect time to set up a new type of booking software for people to book studios and things. Sure. And what we use now is just such a pain in the butt, and so I just want to get rid of it and have something super simple. So that's what I was using it for, and it's I think it's about there. So. All right. After all of that, King of the Hill, Season 8, Episode 17, or, well, I don't know that I got was it 8 ABE 14? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. ABE 14's right.
How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Alamo.
The Alamo.
Aired April 18th, 2004. And that title, that's a takeoff on
Dr. Strangelove. It would be Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Yeah.
I was a young ROTC student, and our ROTC teacher was an older Navy guy, and by the time I came along, he had been teaching ROTC for about 10 years and had been out of the military for about just as long. And he always had war movies and stuff like that he wanted to show us, or military movies that surrounded like military whatever. 3 movies that stuck with me and that I remember and I still like to watch today are 12 O'Clock High, I think is what it's called. I think that's the name of the movie, 12 O'Clock High.
That's the one where they fight each other. That's the one where they fight each other after school kind of thing, isn't it?
No. It's 12 o'clock noon.
High noon?
No, it's 12 o'clock something.
Okay.
Artie's not in our chat here.
Anyway, that's fine. Whatever.
12 O'Clock High, maybe. Yeah, it's 12 O'Clock High is what it's called. It's a 1949 film. Yeah, 12 O'Clock High. That's right. All right, it's Gregory Peck, and it's a World War II movie, and it's about bombers, like a bomber group or whatever that's flies out of England, out of a base there. And one of the things that I always liked about it, on the door to enter into the airplane, it said where angels and generals fear to tread.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was cool. The other one was The Bridge on the River Kwai, which was
a great movie.
A great movie, which for those of you that don't know about it, it's that whistle, the famous whistle. It's used in commercials and everything. They use it for a lot of different stuff, that particular whistle. But that movie is about a British soldier who forced these Japanese guys to uphold like the Geneva Convention and stuff like that. And he was just very matter of fact, and he just never wavered. He was a true, all right, chaps, order and structure about. Yeah, he was
that
really good movie.
That one and The Great Escape have always been two of my favorite war type movies, and Great Escape is really not a war movie for the most part. It's more about these guys getting away with something. So you could compare it to something like The Italian Job, or, even Ocean's 11 kind of thing, where they're breaking out of a Nazi camp. That's the only thing that makes it a war movie. So, it's very good, though. Steve McQueen is excellent in that. There's nothing like seeing Steve McQueen trying to drive a motorcycle over barbed wire. So that's
definitely not. But long story short, the other movie was this Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Love the Bomb, or whatever.
Dr. Strangelove
movie that we watched.
I have never really liked that movie, and maybe that puts me on a different tier. I never really. I don't know. It felt like a moment in time that I didn't experience. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I mean, I know I love Peter Sellers. I thought he was great in a lot of things. And then what was the guy's name that goes down on the bomb? He was a famous cowboy actor.
Ritter, something Ritter. No, Wilson Pickett, maybe. I don't know.
I think it was Wilson Pickett. But anyway, it's a good movie. It has a lot of symbolism that like I didn't either get when I was a kid or whatever, and so it kind of put.
No, it was Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens. There you go.
That was his name, Slim Pickens. Yeah.
And man, if you've ever watched Blazing Saddles, you know who Slim Pickens is at that point.
Well, the even better one actually was all right. So this is an old one. This takes me back to like my movies my dad's dad used to watch with him when he was a little kid, kind of thing. Because my grandpa was an old country guy. He was born in like 1912. So movies and TV shows and all that was like a insane phenomenon to him. But One-Eyed Jacks with Marlon Brando, he plays this bad guy in there, and that's a good ass Western movie. It's got Marlon Brando and Slim Pickens in it, but he plays like the antagonist to Marlon Brando's protagonist, rather.
He was in so many of those, and what a great, like, there's a guy who said, you know what I play a really good cowboy, and I'll just do that the rest of my life. I mean, that was his deal. Well, shit, I dropped my little thing here. Hang on. All right. So we've got season 8, episode 17, how I stopped worrying and how I learned to stop worrying and love the Alamo. Bomb.
I just got a fun fact real fast. So
please.
the reason that guy's name is really Lewis Burton Lindley, but yeah, that's the name of Slim Pickens. He was actually born to a dairy farmer in Texas, and a Texas-born dairy farmer. Sorry, he was born in California, but he grew up and he started riding Broncos and roping steers as a teenager, and his dad found out and got pissed. Well, he went to go compete in a rodeo, and the rodeo manager told him that there would be slim pickings for him, little chance of winning. So they told him there's slim pickings for you, son. So so his dad wouldn't find out that he was competing or had competed. He entered his name as Slim Pickens, and then he ended up winning over $400 that afternoon riding Broncos, and $400 in that time frame.
Oh yeah,
that was like in the 30s, the 20s, maybe.
Buy you a Buick. You know,
there you go. There's your little fun fact about Slim Pickens' name. There you go.
Yeah, that's cool. God, there was something I was going to tell you that I just thought about while you were talking about that, and I forgot all about it. Anyway, it'll come back. All right, so we start this one with 0 cold open. There's no cold open to this. It just goes straight into the credits. What it says about this one is Hank reacts with disbelief when he realizes Bobby's history textbook contains almost nothing on the Alamo, and Peggy, this is one of my favorite Peggy things that she ever does. Peggy photographs a Flat Stanley doll to help teach kids about geography and safety issues. She takes it way too far, and I love those pictures at the end.
I actually have a quick Flat Stanley fact, I guess, since we're on it. All right, so Flat Stanley project, for those of you that don't know, most people should know that grew up in the last 40 years of
if you were in public school life. You probably knew.
At least for the last 40 years. So Flat Stanley is a global literacy and geography activity. It's where you make flat versions of the character in the book called Stanley Lambchop. And the book was written in 1964 by a guy named Jeff Brown. Well, in 1995, there was a teacher named Dale Hubert. And he got it. He kind of started this thing where students would mail the paper doll to friends or family who would then take pictures and journal Flat Stanley's journey across wherever. And I remember the phenomenon of watching that on social media and early social media, not only early social media, just like news in general. I remember there being like a big things on like Good Morning America in like the late 90s, early 2000s about this teacher and them actually, sending it around, but its purpose was to improve reading, writing, and then also promote interest in different cultures and geographies. That was the world I grew up in, a world where different cultures were okay and not scary, and xenophobia was almost dead and barely existed.
Yep. I get that.
The 90s.
The 90s. Yeah. I watched a video last night. The guy was saying, was 1999 like our final great year, that kind of thing.
Yep. I think it was 01, really. I think like the Twin Towers kind of created a bunch of weirdness because it created the first thing where we were like, oh, well, they're Muslim, so they're all bad. That thing. I think that where it kind of started. It kind of kicked that off again.
I just wanted to show you this.
Flat, Zach, and Mike. Oh, this is awesome.
I made this like 2 years ago for that other show.
I remember you showing me this. Yeah, I remember you showing me this now. Yeah,
and if anybody wants one of these, reach out to me. I'll send you a copy of it.
That would be awesome. Yeah,
I always liked it. I thought it was cool. Okay, so let's get this sucker started. All right, so we start at Tom Landry Middle School classroom. Bobby and Joseph are sitting next to each other, which I'm assuming they always do. And then the teacher says, we are now finished with the American history portion of our class. So today we begin our unit on Texas history. It's a big deal to Bobby. He goes, yes, Texas history. I can't wait to tell my dad. There'll be steaks for dinner tonight. I mean, anything for a celebration about Texas,
Yeah. I actually have, since we're on textbooks, this is a crazy textbook connection. So textbooks in the United States are generally controlled by the states with the largest population. So Texas, Florida, California, a lot of the textbooks and stuff, they have to be generated on a mass scale. So whenever they're generated, they're made for whoever's purchasing the most gets to kind of choose what happens. Well, the crazy thing about textbooks is there was a company called McGraw-Hill that was founded and had a lot to do with textbooks, and then they merged with another company called Macmillan Inc., and it was called Macmillan McGraw-Hill School Publishing Company. Well, Macmillan was owned by Robert Maxwell, who was Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who
really
the whole Epstein thing. So Robert Maxwell, and he actually at one point controlled all of the textbooks, or had a 50-50 control of like managing one of the largest textbook publishers in the United States in the 90s and the 2000s.
He was the one that was pushed off his boat naked.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
He died in the ocean. They never,
Yes.
I don't think they ever found his body, honestly.
Always something iffy surrounding all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think she was on the
Sorry.
boat too. She's
I'm
she's
not a
creep,
conspiracy
dude.
theorist, but some of this shit just makes you just really like.
She's a creep. She is.
Yeah.
She's a terrible person, and so was he. He was an awful person too. Okay, so they're in class. The lady says it's time to do the thing. Clark Peters. It goes over to Clark, and we know Clark. Clark talks like this. He holds his book up and he goes, "My book is broken," because there's like pages falling out and stuff. And the teacher says, "Well, listen more carefully." I mean, that's her only reply, but I mean, it's kind of what I would say. We're not getting any more textbooks, buddy. But then Principal Moss comes in, rolling in one of those carts that we've all seen that have textbooks on them. You know, the one that comes from the library kind of thing. And he goes, "Ta-da!" The teacher says, "New textbooks. They're so beautiful." He goes, "Now, don't let the science teachers hear about this. Their Bunsen burners have been hooked up to nothing for years," which it's a good joke.
That is a good joke.
Bobby says, "I never even seen a new textbook. Now I get to decide who has mustaches and who gets devil horns." And the teacher comes by and she says, "Okay, now remember, these represent," Moss says, "Okay, now remember, these represent Texas and a lot of money. So keep your naked ladies and your words to rock songs out of the margins." Your words to rock songs. I like that part.
That is funny.
And the teacher's walking past Bobby and she looks at him and goes, "You doodle in these books and I'm going to doodle you an F." I mean, that's a serious threat. I'm going to doodle you an F. All right. So we're in the Hill kitchen at the house, and Hank is cleaning his glasses with a spray bottle. Nonetheless, I don't know how many times you use a spray bottle to clean your glasses.
Yeah. I usually use the abrasive shirt that I'm wearing and scratch them all to hell.
Yeah. If you go to what's it called, iMasters or whatever here in town, they always wear shirts that say, "This is not a glasses cleaning cloth," or something like that on the t-shirt.
Oh, that's funny. I want one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd like to have one of those. I saw one yesterday. I saw a t-shirt yesterday, and this is apropos of nothing, but it had a quote and a quote here, nothing in the middle of it, right? Just the quote things. And then it said Helen Keller down at the bottom. That was a very lovely shirt.
Very lovely indeed.
All right, so we're in the kitchen at home. Hank is cleaning his glasses. He goes, "Now that's what I call clean pair of glasses." Like talking to himself about how clean his stupid glasses are. Bobby comes in and he's looking in the pantry. He goes, "What are you looking for, Bobby?" He goes, "A cover for my new textbook. Fire up the grill, Dad. We just started Texas history." Oh, Hank gets very excited. "Texas history? Son, today you are officially a Texan. Congratulations." Bobby, he goes, "Bobby, you can't cover a book that important with aluminum foil." I don't know, the kid's getting aluminum foil out to cover his book. Can you imagine being in a class where a kid had his book covered in aluminum foil?
I've seen some stuff. What was one that people used to use? Brown paper sacks. That was one. That was kind of noisy too. But what they would do is they would take it and they would crumple it and make it soft, and then they would wrap their book around it. Yeah.
You remember when they started coming out with those stretchy covers for your textbook?
Yeah, I remember those. And then I remember getting written up in class, there was one teacher I had that was super anal about the books. And there was like some weird policy, or I guess there was some like student policy that you sign that says I will cover books or whatever in there. And no other teacher cared whatsoever. But this one teacher, she would just, if you didn't have it covered, she would have a stack of like covers for you to cover it with. But she would be such a bitch about it. Wherever she's at, I hope she's not having a good day.
I hope she has to cover everything where she's at.
I mean, I hope she's having a great life, but I hope she's not having a good day. I hope today out of all days,
one day
she doesn't have any milk for her cereal, or she's out of coffee or something. Like,
she's like, damn it, I
like
can't
terribly inconvenienced. Yeah.
She's not like dying in a storm or anything. She's just like, oh, sorry. Hey, there's Ghetto Cowboy, Victoria's Secret sauce. Yeah, this is a good one.
Yes.
So he goes, son, today you're a Texan. He goes, Bobby, you can't cover that thing with aluminum foil. He goes, okay, this one's pretty, and he pulls out a bag that's white and pink stripe. It's obviously a Victoria's Secret bag, and Hank says, no. We got a brown paper bag in the garage, and your mother only went there to buy athletic socks. They make a very good athletic sock. So Ghetto Cowboy says it feeds into Hank's foot fetish, but I think more than anything, it feeds into they get a little freaky sometimes. Now, that's not necessarily in the show, but there are hints occasionally.
Or it could just be Luann's trash. Luann is a young, potentially promiscuous. I'm not going to assume. Potentially promiscuous young lady, so it could be Luann's.
No Luann's slut shaming here. She could be the one, but the way that Hank reacts makes me think it's Peggy's. You know, like he's just so quick.
It could be Peggy's.
Yeah. She goes and buys her granny panties there.
If you find the double-sided dildo underneath the couch, though, I'm not going to assume that that's Peggy and Hank. I will not assume.
Ghetto Cowboy says, I'm with Mike, so he thinks that she's getting a little freaky. And then Baby D says she be fucking. That's a great response. All right, so we got Peggy over at Dale's house. Nancy has a whole bunch of letters on the table, and Peggy is in a purple one-piece tracksuit, which she looks like a Russian all of a sudden. But Nancy says, I'm sorry, Shug, I can't go walking. I have to answer this mail that came to the station. Peggy's like, well, it's okay. I'm on that all-you-can-eat bacon diet, and my time would probably be better spent eating more bacon, which I think everybody's time would be better spent eating more bacon.
I think so too, but a specific type of bacon. I like English bacon. I like the back bacon. Yeah, for sure. Or like,
I mean, isn't it just ham?
I mean, I guess it's just ham, but I don't know. It's not. It's the same cut though. You know what I mean? It's just a thicker cut. It's more like a pork chop. And what they call, like what we have for bacon here, they call stringy bacon over there. And their complaint is that how can you call it bacon when all it really is just fat? There's more fat than there is meat to it. So in their mind is we could still fry up bacon, but let's have some fucking meat on our bacon kind of thing instead of just fat. So I like their bacon. And you don't cook it like hard like we do, like people like our bacon. I don't really like crispy bacon. That's not something that I enjoy. I like my bacon cooked all the way through thoroughly, obviously, but I don't like it to where it's like crackles in your mouth. No, I don't like that.
I like it to have that one crispy end and then the one fatty floppy end.
You get
the best of both worlds. You just fold it in half.
That's what I like. Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. That's what I like.
People that get it like extremely hard, I don't understand. It's the same thing with like steaks. If you're going to go in and order a well done steak, just stay home. You know,
just stay home. Don't waste your money on a steak that you could pay for cheaper at the house if you're going to destroy it. Yeah, no, it's like whenever I go, I always order rare because they will never ever get it close to where I want it. So I always order it literally the bloodiest that they will legally serve it to me at a restaurant, because otherwise they're going to overcook it. And I'd rather overcook.
Most of the time when you order it that way, you're going to get medium rare. So, I mean, it's fine.
I want them to walk it out on a leash.
Me too.
set it on my plate. They call it blue is how I prefer mine.
Yes. Yeah. I like it black and blue, where they kind of burn it on the outside and it's like raw on the inside almost.
See the country guys in chat here. They like their bacon chewy. You got Baby T and Ghetto Cowboy.
Right.
See, they like
that's
it.
Right.
They know that. They know that's that farm boy shit. They know
if you want well done, get beef jerky from the gas station. That's I agreed. They
should get a picture. We should get a picture with Ghetto Cowboy's face on it. It says, if you want well done, get beef jerky from the gas station. There you go.
Ghetto, if you want to send me that, I'll make that shirt. All right. So she goes, oh, that's okay. I need to eat more bacon. She goes, listen to this. Because of your inaccurate forecast, my wedding was ruined, you ass. I mean, that's pretty rough on a letter you send to somebody. She goes, oh my God, look at this picture. She is dripping wet. She's holding up a picture of the girl in her wedding dress. She goes, this, Shug, is the ugly side of meteorology. It isn't all free makeup samples and riding in convertible in the Arlen Day parade. And then she pulls out Flat Stanley. And she says, what the hell is this? It's hard for me to believe that she doesn't know what Flat Stanley is. But, I mean, because she's on the local news, I would think that this comes up a lot with those puff pieces with kids in school, you know?
And I would imagine so, too, because there's a lot of I don't know about anymore, but back in those days, I remember in the late 90s, early 2000s and stuff like that, news is a lot bigger thing now with social media than it was back then. So you would have the meteorologist filling in and doing all these other like weird little things where now you don't really get that as much. We actually used to have a meteorologist here in town. I don't know if you remember him or not. You probably do remember him. But he was also a prosecutor in Bell County. His name was Lon Curtis.
I remember that.
And Monday through Friday, he got the job because whoever was the weekend guy or whatever at that time just dipped out mid-season on them, and they needed somebody to fill the spot. So he would drive up from Temple, and he was a prosecutor down there. He worked for the DA's office Monday through Friday, and then he would come up here and do nights and weekends, and then he ended up taking over the complete role as meteorologist.
If I am not mistaken, he had to take over because the weather guy went nuts. And he's the one that stripped off all his clothes and ran naked down Elm Street, and the cops had to go get him. I mean, it was, I don't know what happened.
That was like around 99, 2000, 2001, somewhere in that time frame. It's funny. I was listening to, I listened to a lot of Texas prison stories on YouTube from guys that had been locked up in Texas prisons. And I was listening to a story from a guy in Temple who had been prosecuted by Lon Curtis. That's the reason why he was fresh in my mind, because I just listened to that the other day.
Oh, that's funny.
I just looked up all that information, but yeah.
Lon Curtis is a pretty good news name, though. I mean, that's pretty solid.
Yeah,
you know?
Lon Curtis with the news.
Headlines with Lon Curtis. You know, that kind of thing. It just sounds right. What the hell is Lon? I guess it's Lonnie.
And Lon Curtis with the weather.
That's right. All right. So she says it's not all. She pulls out the Flat Stanley. She goes, is this some kind of voodoo doll? My nose is not that big. She goes, no, that's Flat Stanley. Teachers have their students send them out to faraway places, and you take pictures of them, send it back, and the kids learn about geography, which honestly, it was a cool thing. And it says, she goes, what do these people want from me? I am not God. Like Peggy says, although I am not teaching at the school this week, the world is my classroom, Nancy. Yeah, God, she's so full of it. I'll take care of Flat Stanley. Now, I'll start with a photo at Lake Arlen. Is it going to rain today? She asks. She asks her, and she goes, oh, why am I asking you? Like, I mean, what a friggin' insult on the way out the door. All right, so we're in the alley. We got all four guys. So we got Hank, we got Bill, we got Dale, and we got Boomhauer. You know, well, Bobby sure is lucky. He got 30 more years of Texas history to learn than we did.
I sent you sorry, Mike. I sent you a link in the chat for me and you, the private chat on the Steam, whatever it's called, stream of Lake Arlen, so you could show everybody.
Oh, very nice. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that is lovely. It's beautiful this time of year. Let's see if I can share it here. How do I do that? Oh, it came up on the thing. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Lake Arlen. I don't want that. I need to share it. This has become way bigger than you wanted it to be, but let's go here. Look at that. Look at beautiful Lake Arlen.
There you go. There's Lake Arlen.
Yeah.
That's kind of really like, I'm trying to think of an area in Texas that would even look like that. That right there is a very there's not very many hilly areas around lakes. You usually there's a lot of excavation done for like getting ready to flood lakes. They do a lot of groundwork first. So, but yeah, that's a beautiful lake. Navarro Mills ish.
Maybe Navarro Mills. Yeah. Belton. Like Belton kind of looks like that when you go into it. Just no real fences, but yeah.
No, Lake Arlen, everybody. Cheers.
But it does look like a prototypical Texas lake. I mean, it really does.
It does, absolutely. And I shared with Ghetto Cowboy, I believe is who I shared it with. Yeah, Ghetto Cowboy. He actually DM'd me about the dirt track that I was talking about that was in the lake. Yeah. And I went and got him all the stuff I could find on it. It was actually called the Suicide Bowl, and it was a really dangerous track by obviously by the title. And there was actually a famous national driver that actually drove on that track pretty often. It was actually pretty neat because there's a lot that I didn't know about it. He just asked for pictures. He said, next time you go to that tire shop, can you give me some pictures? And I was like, well, let's just see what's on the internet about it. And there was actually it was actually a fairly popular track for that time frame, for that era of dirt track racing because of its
where's it at?
Notoriety of it. Well, it was it's called the Suicide Bowl. It was in where Spiegelville used to be.
Oh,
before they flooded the lake, before they flooded where the lake is. So the first flooding of it, I don't think it bothered it. But whenever they flooded it the second time to expand the reservoir, like they did in the 40s or 50s or whatever it was, they did that. Whenever they expanded it, that's when it flooded it. And but it was a pretty popular dirt track for the state of Texas.
They did a lot of that all over the country. If you want to see an example of that, go watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Because they have to flood that place, just to get the hydroelectric dams to work and things like that.
Yeah, and I'd said it before. They actually a funny flooding that was done was the Teletubbies. The people were pissed off that people kept coming on their land, so they just flooded the Teletubbies.
They flooded the Teletubbies set.
Yeah, I think I talked about that the last episode that we did, but yeah, so they ended up flooding the whole area where the Teletubbies was. And actually there's I did some genealogy for on my dad's side, and there's a place in Yorkshire that we used to have lands and titles or whatever over there in the 16 or 1500s, but where the original home or the original manor or whatever you want to call it stood is actually now at the bottom of a reservoir.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's a lot of this country that got flooded all at the same time. He says, Lord, Rusty, baby T. It's like, that's a lot of information about lakes. Okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of information in my head. Well, but Texas is really unique with lakes because Texas only has one natural lake. The rest of the lakes are all reservoirs made specifically for water. So
we got plenty of alligator gar. I know that.
A lot of alligator
gar.
A lot of alligator gar.
All right, so we're in the alley, and he says, well, Bobby sure is lucky. He's got 30 more years of Texas history to learn than we did. I defy anyone to sit through that class without becoming a man of courage and conviction. And then Bill says, I truly believe that if I hadn't taken Texas history, I'd be dead by my own hand. There is a huge pregnant pause after that. All of them just kind of look
very, very big pregnant pause.
Bobby comes running up and he goes, Dad, you got to help me. My first Texas history test is tomorrow, and I left my textbook at school. Dale, being the ever helpful one, sticks in and goes, you can't use Joseph's. Like he's it's like, that kind of thing. Hank says, don't worry. I still have my old textbook. You can study from that. He goes, didn't they make you turn it in? He goes, the student with the highest grade got to keep their textbook. Back then, they really knew how to motivate a teenager. Really? That's what did it?
Yes, yeah.
Baby T is in a mood. He's like, go to hell, Peggy. Fuck off, Dale. Jeez. I mean, he's right, but geez.
Yeah.
So we get the big.
He's right. That's all we can say about that. Is he's definitely right.
That's right. He said, no, you get to keep it. And he goes, great, Dad. I don't want to fail. And I end up in summer school. There's no air conditioning, and half of the kids are pregnant. which is wonderful. They're inside. His dad gets the textbook down, and he goes, "Well, no son of mine is going to flunk Texas history. Now, what does the test cover?" He goes, "Texas 1830 to 1840. Oh, that's the Texas Revolution. If you were only going to learn one piece of Texas history, that'd be the one." He turns to a picture in his textbook of Davy Crockett. He goes, "New Year's Day, 1830. The smell of fresh chopped cottonwood wafted across the plains." This isn't in the book. I just wanted to set the mood. So when he goes to get the Texas history book down, we see on his bookshelf there's only a few books. One is, and maybe you can help me with this. I thought it was just Shogun, right? But
I can't help you with it. It's Shogunate or something like that.
Okay, yeah. It's Shogun.
But Shogun is a famous book by James Clavell. They've actually did two miniseries. The most recent one was pretty good. I really liked the most recent one. Yeah, it had a guy that I kind of like. He's not in a whole lot of stuff, but he was really good in that. But
the first one was just a soap opera, basically.
Pretty much
TV soap opera. Yeah,
the book is good.
So he has Shogunate, whatever that is. He has the Holy Bible, not the regular Bible, but the Holy one. Bless you.
Sorry,
he has.
I was going to tell you what a Shogunate was. He stopped sneezing.
Well, hang on. Let me just say these last two, and you can tell me. Then he has Guinness Book of World Records, which totally tracks. And one fiction book up there. Well, I guess Shogunate maybe is fiction, but and according to how you take the Bible, but The Firm is the other book. Those are all the books on the shelf. All right, tell us about Shogunate.
Okay, Shogunate is actually a type of government. So it is the government of the shogun, which shogun is a hereditary military dictator. And it was specifically an era in Japan from the 1190s to the 1860s. And of course, 1860s is when they were forced to participate with the Americans. It's when we said, "Hey, you're going to participate with us," around that time, I guess. So they kind of changed how they did things. But yeah, so the shogunate was
Peggy Steve says our current government then. Yeah, that's about
a future hereditary. I wouldn't call it military dictatorship. I would call it a corporate dictatorship, because all of the people that are currently in charge dodged drafts. And one of them was a Fox News host. He wasn't in the military, but he was a drunk Fox News host.
The thing that gets me is, it used to be you dodged the draft or whatever. That became a big deal. Now it's like all of them in there. None of them fought for anything.
That's why we need like people like John McCain again. You know what I mean? That guy actually had a metal plate in his head and was actually a POW in a country somewhere. I think that should be a requirement. Should be military service, or like you don't get people. We'll never get anybody like Abraham Lincoln, a self-taught lawyer that lived in a log cabin, came from a dirt floor poor. Like, you'll never get that again. It's always going to be bought, paid for, or owned. Hopefully that changes with this next generation. They seem to care more about transparency and accountability than we did as our generation.
Well, they look at all the stuff around us and they're like, how does this even affect me? And why is this important? Like, things that we put importance on that really we didn't have to, because if you're really true to yourself, then some of the things that happen in this, like, I can't even come up with a good example, but there are a lot of things we do as Americans that aren't necessarily American. They just, somebody told us to do it at one point and we just do it.
Well, there's this social media comedian that dresses up like an alien and does this like hood alien thing. And there was like an interview with him where he was talking about like, you Earth people broke as hell. And he was saying, he was like, they asked the alien in the interview, they were like, do y'all pay for houses? He's like, nah, y'all, we don't pay no rent. What's rent? And he said, he said, how you gonna make a monkey pay for a banana? Or how are you gonna make a fish pay for water? Or how are you gonna make this pay for that? And it was just the way he put it was kind of funny.
That's absolutely true, though. Okay, so now we get our first Flat Stanley interaction. We're at the Megalomart loading dock with Peggy and Luann, and she's handing the Flat Stanley to a guy that works there, and she goes, "Now, this is the perfect place to take a picture of Flat Stanley. More frozen poultry passes through this loading dock than any other in Heimlich County. It's like Ellis Island for dead chickens." No, it's not. Luann says, "Hey, Peggy, I have a Flat Stanley question. Why is he flat?" She goes, "Exactly, Luann. That's not how you respond to that." She goes, "And if you're asking that, how many other 8-year-olds will send us Stanley and ask the same thing? Why is Flat Stanley flat?" She looks around and she sees all the big machines at the loading dock and stuff. And she goes, "Because he wasn't careful and got tragically and painfully flattened. Flat Stanley can do more than just teach geography. He can save lives. Put him under that semi. I'll call this one Look Both Ways Before Dying."
That's rough.
It got so dark so quick. But I do want to point out one thing. Peggy is she's got a disposable camera she's taking these pictures with, but she's got it on a lanyard around her neck like it's a real camera or something.
Yeah, she's weird.
She's a weirdo. All right, so we're back at the Hill House. We're in the living room. Hank's sitting there kind of reading the paper, and Bobby comes running in and he goes, "Dad, I failed." He goes, "Failed? Failed what?" He goes, "My history test. It looks like I'm on my way to summer school." He goes, "But how? We went over everything. Didn't you listen?" He goes, "Yes, Stephen F. Austin in prison, 1833. Battle of Gonzales, 1835. But none of that stuff was on the test." He goes, and he starts looking through the book, and he goes, "The planting of the first poinsettias. Is that your new book? Let me see it. The introduction of the accordion. A whole chapter on Selena. Where are the chapters about the Alamo? Oh, here we go. The Alamo was a mission in present-day San Antonio. Population 1.5 million. That's it?" He goes, "Well, maybe the Alamo just isn't that important." He goes, "It is the most inspiring event in all of Texas history. Heroes gave their lives so that Texans could be free. There's got to be more in here." And he's just flipping through the book. Bobby sees something and he says, wait. I think I saw something else about it. Oh, that's the Taco Bell.
There's another thing that they don't tell us. First, Taco Bell. Taco Bell actually is a Californian company.
Yeah.
It started in California. And Taco Casa exists because Taco Bell, franchise owner, didn't want to continue to keep changing the menu. So Taco Bell would do a lot of menu changes. And the guy he owned a few Taco Bells, and he's like, "Well, I don't want to change the menu. I want to keep the same recipe, the same food, the same everything." So if you go to a Taco Casa today, that is what Taco Bell food would have looked like in the 60s.
Yeah, they still have the taco burger.
They still have the taco burger, which is a fucking abomination. I don't like Taco Casa and I don't like Taco Bell, but if I ate either of them, it would probably be Taco Bell.
I like Taco Bell. There are certain things that I buy there and certain things I don't. I will never buy chips and cheese for like $3 or whatever they charge you for that.
No, I wouldn't do that either.
But Taco Casa I used to really like because I am a big fan of nachos, right? And
yeah, they got a good nacho. They got a good nacho.
I'm also a fan of not eating my nachos there. I want to go home, watch something cool, and eat my nachos, right? And so the one thing that Taco Casa does is they put all the ingredients separate in little bowls and stuff. So when you get home, you make them. You're right. That's their saving grace is their nachos. Because if you get a nacho Bel Grande from Taco Bell, by the time you get to the house, you need to eat it with a spoon because it's just a slop mess. Those chips
half
are
soggy, half crunchy. It's just not good. Yeah,
those chips are the soggiest, or the thinnest little chips that they put on those things. Yeah.
But the other caveat I had is what they didn't tell us in school about the Texas War for Independence is that Mexico was cool with us being here. And they were like, "Yeah, that's great, but you're not allowed to have slaves." And then we were like, "Well, I think that we still want to have slaves." So
it seemed to be working out pretty well for us.
Yeah, so they started the Texas Revolution is also similar to the Civil War as it was started because some colonizers wanted to keep their slaves.
Well, that takes us to the first commercial break.
Break. Boom.
We will take there we go. And we'll be
right back.
There it is.
Join the Daily High Club.
the premier destination for glass, water pipes, vaporizers, and accessories. Since 2015, we've sold over 1 million quality products and teamed up with legends like Snoop Dogg and Tommy Chong. Ready to elevate your smoking game? Visit dailyhighclub.com for our El Primo subscription box or shop unique pieces today.
Discover the world of luxury sex toys at Luxury Toy X and indulge in the ultimate pleasure experience. For years, we have been dedicated to the belief that sexuality and wellness are essential components of a happy and healthy life. With over 70,000 satisfied customers, we take pride in our ability to provide products that enhance your sexual well-being. Join our community of satisfied customers and unlock a world of pleasure and self-discovery. Visit luxurytoyx.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
I'm Hunter, the founder of Hello Cake, and today we're digging into ED meds. The number one thing we hear is that guys are sick of waiting for ED meds to kick in. Traditional ED meds take about an hour to kick in as they have to go through your digestive system, where Hello Cake's ED medication dissolves under your tongue and works in about 15 minutes. That's about 3 times faster than traditional ED medication. Curious about ED meds? Go to hellocake.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Baby girl, were you staring at me? You know that's not convincing, right? Try again. Well, you shouldn't just be staring then. You should taste.
I miss your presence, your laughter.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Way deep down in the heart of Texas, yeah.
You know, I have just a quick observation. During that break, I ate a banana, and it always hits me that bananas have a very short time when they are excellent. You know, it's 1 day, 1 hour could make a huge difference on a freaking banana.
You know, absolutely.
All right. So we are at the Tom Landry Middle School. Good, Baby T. Thank you for asking, man. We're at the Tom Landry Middle School, and we're in
Tom Landry.
What?
Tom Landry.
Yes, Tom Landry.
Yeah,
and we're in Principal Moss's office, and Hank is pissed because his kid failed because there was no information in the textbook. He goes, how can you call a book Texas history when there's barely any history in it? Principal Moss, of course, always the fun guy, says, you familiar with a little thing called Serenity Prayer, Hank? Because this is one of those things I can't change. Such a good line, because you realize.
That's a great line, yeah.
Oh shit, he's an AA and he's using this as his defense, you know. He goes, but where's the Texas history we grew up with, Carl? You wore a coonskin cap from the 8th through the 11th grade. Davy Crockett isn't even mentioned in here. Okay, I used to go to school with a kid that wore a coonskin cap.
Oh yeah.
He drove a green Gremlin. You remember the Gremlin car with the flat top?
The
on
AMC
it?
Gremlin, yeah.
He would wear a coonskin cap, or he would wear his rebel hat, and on top of his Gremlin, he had the Confederate flag painted on it.
That's funny.
This kid was a weirdo. Oh, you know what? His name was Lonnie. That just came to me. Lonnie, if you're watching, you were weird.
Lonnie Curtis.
It was Lon Curtis. They bring it all around. All right. Good night, everybody. Okay. So he says, he goes, but where's the Texas history? He goes, David Crockett didn't even mention in here. He goes, sorry, Hank, but you're going to have to take your complaint to the school board. Hey, and while you're there, could you ask them why it's taking so long to get some chalk? But don't tell them I told you so. So we go over to a shooting range. It's called the Bullseye Shooting Range. And what do you call those? Are they like tunnels or booths or what? Like in a shooting range where they have them all lined up like that? What are those? Alleys, booths? I'm assuming alley maybe for each person, kind of like a bowling alley, Something
about like it's just range. They just call it a range.
That's a good one. Yeah. Baby T says stall.
Stall lane. Yeah.
I'm going to go with stall. So they're in one of the stalls, and this is Peggy and Luann.
I've never actually shot at a shooting range. We always had places where we could legally shoot in the middle of nowhere. So that's where we would shoot at instead of ranges. So if we ever go shoot, we go to the middle of nowhere and go shoot instead of to the ranges. They look at your gun and they're like, this is legal to shoot here. In the middle of nowhere, you just shoot your gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they're in one of the lanes here, and you hear a bunch of gunfire and shouting and stuff. And Peggy says, now, firearm safety is one of the most important issues facing our children today. And she takes Flat Stanley and she puts it on that target line and shoots it out there, for everybody to shoot at. And Luann has one of the smartest things that's said in this show. She goes, would it just be easier to have children not shoot guns? I mean, that yes, Luann, it would be. It absolutely would be, Luann.
Probably right.
But Peggy says, snap out of your dream world, Luann. Fire! And then just bam, 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 bam. Everybody starts shooting at it. And Luann is like, oh, my God, Aunt Peggy, no. How many times does he have to get shot? Peggy says, until he learns his lesson. Wow, that's cold, man.
Yeah.
Cold. All right, so we're at the board meeting. There's a like a little sandwich board outside that says board meeting tonight at 7 p.m. This is at the cafetorium, right? Baby T still wants Peggy to go to hell. We hear from one of the board members up on the stage there. It says, Mr. Hill, there are several factors we have to consider when ordering textbooks. They have to be relevant to today's kids, hold their attention. We're competing against MTV, He goes, no, you're not. They say, and another one says, the fact is, some things just have to go. Our lawyers are very concerned about the weight of books. And then the other one says, do you know how long it takes for a 60-pound kid with a 20-pound backpack to destroy his back? We actually use that question in our new math books. It's just insane.
Yeah.
Hank says, but the Texas Revolution, how could you not include that? He goes, it was making a lot of people uncomfortable. Who? He said, well, lawyers mostly. He goes, but those kids are Texans. They need to feel like Texans. And then you hear a guy from the back. He stands up in the crowd and he goes, yeah, these kids aren't learning anything. And then the lady up on the stage says, oh, well, you got Tuttle's vote. Maybe the two of you can build some kind of coalition and come back when we order our new textbooks in 2032.
That's about right. I remember textbooks were horribly out of date when I was by the time I got to high school, the textbooks were probably 15, 20 years out of date.
Yeah, I always judged it by which president was the most recent one in there, because they would go over presidents and governors and stuff. Yeah. Ghetto Cowboy says you have to admire rare moments when Peggy can be savage. You absolutely do. Because this is definitely one of them.
Oh, yeah, she definitely went off.
So she says we're going to order a textbook. So now we're after the meeting. We're outside, and Tuttle is standing there smoking a cigarette. Hank comes out, and he introduces himself. Bruce Tuttle, I was here trying to get some seed money for an educational film of the lifetimes of LBJ. They wouldn't spring for it. He goes, well, LBJ would make a great movie. And in this textbook, all they've got is one picture of him lifting his dog by the ears. And that was for a unit on active seniors. He goes, fighting those idiots has got me starving. You hungry? He goes, I could eat. How many times you heard that in your life? I could eat.
I could eat. Yeah, a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ghetto
Are
Cowboy
you hungry? Well, hell, I could eat.
Yeah, I could eat. Ghetto Cowboy says his brother is 11 years older and he had his textbook. So that proves to you right there how long.
There you go.
Freaking
I'm like 6 years older than my youngest sibling, and they were like seeing books with my name in it and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so they go over to Luli's, which is Luby's, by the way. And we start with Hank. He says, there's more to Texas history on this placemat at Luby's than in all of my son Bobby's textbooks. He goes, down near San Antonio, they do a reenactment of the Battle of Goliad every week. It stinks, but at least they got their shot, which is
great. At least they got
their
shot. You're right.
Yeah. Hank says, hey, if they can do that, why can't we put on a reenactment of the Alamo? That'd be a great way to teach kids. Tuttle says, sure, but there's no way the school board would pay for it. He goes, well, maybe they won't have to. I bet Buck Strickland will foot the bill. He was talking about sponsoring a soccer team, but this is a much better use of money. Well, in your eyes, Hank, sure.
Yeah.
The guy says, is it okay if I write and direct it? I write the flyer for the feed store and always wanted to branch out. He goes, I read that flyer. That's a good flyer. This is stupidest thing. He goes, thanks, it's my baby. Said they don't pay me, but still, it's a credit. He goes, but this reenactment could really be something that makes people sit up and take notice. He goes, well, let's do it. Hey, this calls for a celebration. What kind of pie says heroism? He goes, strawberry. Oh, of course. I'm not sure why strawberry is for heroism, but mark that down, kids. Okay, he's saying that now, but in season, it's another story. Yeah, probably so. Oh, in season 14, it's another story. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You are absolutely right. Okay.
Completely different.
So we're back to Flat Stanley. She is taping it all back together. Poor Flat Stanley. He's in 9,000 pieces, and she's over there with some invisible tape and putting it back together. And then Bobby says, oh, stupid Texas history. I can't believe I'm going to go to summer school. They don't even serve lunch, just raisins and skim milk. And they only have one open bathroom. And Peggy says, I am sure you won't have to go to summer school. No one really wants to teach it. Just try to do some extra credit. I have students hold doors for me. Wow, that's perfect, Peggy. Nice teaching.
That is perfect.
She goes, now, can you put your finger here so I can staple his groin back together?
Yikes.
Hank comes in and he says, Bobby, Peggy, I just met a man named Bruce Tuttle, and we're going to do a historical reenactment of the Alamo. Bobby says, a reenactment? Hey, that could be my extra credit. Can I be in it? He goes, well, Bruce did say a lot of the soldiers were teenagers. I bet he could use someone like you to keep it authentic. Oh, that's my specialty, keeping it real. He goes, authentic, Bobby, authentic.
Authentic.
Now we're out in the alley. All four guys are there, and he goes, yep, if the school won't teach my boy Texas history, this reenactment will. And then Bill, of course, can I help build the set, Hank? It might make me feel better about falling asleep in the men's room at the Alamo IMAX movie. Boomhauer, of course. Yeah, man, count me in, man. Use my dang old Bowie knife, man. I'm talking about dang old victory of death. Hank says, you can all help. We'll be an all-volunteer crew, just like the real Alamo. Bobby runs in and says, sirs, I bring news from the front. You can get 2 Just-A-Burgers for 49 cents at Whataburger this week. And then he runs off like he's bringing in important. Bill, of course, I have 49 cents. He runs back in. He says, the general also sends word of Lady Bird's water bowl is empty. And then he runs off. Dale, Hank, Bobby's making me uncomfortable again. Spank him. He goes, shut up, Dale. Bobby's practicing for the reenactment. Bobby's back in. He says, Mr. Tuttle said I can play James Butler Bonham, Alamo Messenger, and my teacher said I get extra credit to make up for my F. Hank, that's great. The messenger is the first one to die. Like that's a selling point or something, Oh, it's the first one to die. And Dale sums it all up. Messenger, bring my word to my wife. We make love on the morrow, which is wonderful. We make love on the morrow.
We make love on the morrow.
All right, so now we go into this big area where they're going to build the stage for this reenactment, right? I don't know where they got all this grass. I don't know where it's at.
Yeah, I don't know where they got any of it at.
Seems like it's in the middle of a park or something, which I would think you'd have to get a permit for, but whatever. The teacher says to Hank, everything has to look as real as possible. We do this right, and more than just the eyes of Harlan will be upon us. He goes, that's right. Kids from all over Heimlich County are being bussed in. Even Durndal and East Rumpert. We don't hear much about East Rumpert.
East Rumpert. I don't know what the hell is it. East Rumpert.
East Rumpert. By the way, he did get Strickland to pay for this because there's a big banner up there that says Strickland Propane presents the Alamo.
Okay.
So this girl walks up, fairly young girl, and the director, Tuttle, he goes, thanks, doll. Hey, everybody, meet my babysitter, Charla. She goes, hey, y'all. He goes, she's helping me out with the actors. She goes, you just missed a hell of a rehearsal. Leave it to Bruce to find the best hook-handed actor in Heimlich. Okay.
Hook-handed actor.
They are, something's going on behind the scenes with these two.
Yeah, something's definitely going on here.
Friggin' to it.
A little iffy going on around
He
here.
says, what can I say? I think of everything. So, Hank, how's the set coming? It takes a lot of courage to look at somebody else and say, I think of everything. That is a big one. That's a Peggy type quote.
That is a big one. Yeah, that's a Peggy quote.
He goes, well, I've already cut the design out of 1x and 1/4-inch plywood. He goes, you sound like a big Hollywood set designer. I guess that makes me a big Hollywood director.
Yeah.
Someday, I joke about running off to Hollywood and abandoning my kids, but I don't think I could really go through with it. And then just the two of them laugh and she's touching him and all this stuff. That's why I say something's going on there. And Hank just goes, I got work to do, and just walks off. Like he's just so uncomfortable. There's touching going on, people liking each other. All right. Later on, they're still building the set, and they have to raise the front of the Alamo up, the fake front or whatever for this thing. He goes, nice and steady, guys. The Alamo looks beautiful at dusk. Like they get it up, and they're just all standing there admiring it. Bill says, oh yeah, if it were a painting, it'd be called Painting of Sunsetting on Alamo. Which I love that joke because that is the very least that Bill can come up with, or it's probably the most that Bill can come up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just stating what he sees. That's it. There's not like any special,
not much more than that,
to it or anything. Yeah. Okay. So he goes, Painting of Sunsetting on Alamo. Bobby comes in and goes, I'm going to practice my line, Dad. He goes, okay, son. Sir, Santa Anna's men outnumber us by the thousands. General Houston sends his regards, but no additional troops. Hank says, well, it looks like the Mexican army is flying the flag of no quarter, gentlemen. How should we respond? Dale says, on your order, I shall load the cannon. Then Boomhauer, yeah, man, talking about dang old kaboom, man. He goes, we will never surrender or retreat.
Oh, dang kaboom. I like
Bobby
that.
says, we sure won't, Dad. He goes, all right, then. That's it for tonight, guys. Tomorrow's a big day. Chance for everyone to be at the Alamo. And he kind of tears up a little bit. And Dale says, I'm so excited. I don't know how I'm going to sleep. Yep, better drink up. I don't know that that's going to help you, Dale. But
yeah, I don't think so, Dale.
All right. So now we're at the pork processing plant. That's a wonderful little transition. And Peggy and Luann are there to do something else to this poor Flat Stanley. And the guy looks at it and goes, well, I guess let's teach kids. And he puts it on the conveyor belt. And Luann says, do we really have to worry about children wandering into pork plants and climbing on the kill line? She goes, not if I do my job. And then we just see electricity start zapping, which I guess is
everything.
kill
Yeah.
these pigs or knock them out or something.
Yeah, I imagine so. They probably use electricity to take them out. A little.
Poor Flat Stanley. All right. So there's an actor on stage and he's in bandages and he kind of looks undead. But this happens after the guy says, Hank, I just had an idea. Well, it's more of an inspiration. I want to open the play with a speech from a new character, the Ghost of the Alamo. What do you think? He goes, Ghost? He goes, well, it's just a device to set the stage and let people know how they should feel about what they're watching. He goes, well, sounds kind of creative, but okay, you're the writer. He goes, and the director. He goes, places. And they all sit down. And Hank says, finally, I can't wait to see it. And then that guy in the bandages comes out. And he says, I am the ghost of the Alamo. And Hank goes, oh, he's pretty spooky. He says, they say to remember the Alamo. Well, heed their call. The story is timeless, a lesson to all. Where are our heroes? Don't look for them here. The world's not so simple. The world's not so clear. Okay, number one, stop rhyming.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
Hank says, I don't get it. And then Davy Crockett comes on the stage. Now, Davy Crockett is drunk. He is drunk, and he comes over, and he's going to vomit in one of the bedpans or whatever. And Hank sees him. He goes, "Oh, Davy Crockett, thank God." He thinks he's going to save this whole thing, right?
But he might make it worse.
Yeah, Davy Crockett says, "It has become clear that I will never make it back to my beloved Tennessee. If I were a stronger man, I guess I wouldn't be here. I would have faced up to my demons instead of using dead Indians and Mexicans as stepping stones back to the Senate." Jesus. Then Travis comes in a dress and goes, "Vengeance is the Lord's, and he has sent his army to vanquish us for our transgressions." He goes, "We're all damned." Then another guy says, "Don't go looking for your opium, Davy. Travis smoked it all up." And then he says, "I gave half to the prostitutes." Holy crap, this thing has gone completely off the rails here.
That thing went sideways fast, yeah.
Hank says, "What? This is not part of the Alamo. Tell them to stop." And the babysitter is sitting right next to him as they do this run through, and she goes, "No, this is right. Bruce moved the big escape attempt after the bear baiting scene." Bear baiting. He goes, "What?" And then the guy on the Davy Crockett, he's running around the stage with a white flag, and he goes, "Surrender or die. Why start being a hero now? General Santa Anna, General Santa Anna, I surrender." Oh, General. It is Hank's worst nightmare. But what is not Hank's worst nightmare is our second commercial break. We'll take that, and we'll be right back.
Right back.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Texas.
You know, I'm so tired of receiving these scam text messages. If somebody really wanted to get my vote, that's how they would do it. They would say, "We're going to stop that shit."
Yeah, me too. But I can't.
I mean,
so
they're just such. Yikes! Just
yeah,
trying to
annoying.
fool people.
I agree.
Trying to fool people all the time. You know, just trying to fool people all the time. I don't know why people can't make better products or cure cancer. Oh, did you see that, by the way? I know this has nothing to do with this. Did you see that they released some of the documents about cancer and said that we could have cured it like 60 years ago?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's telling.
You make a lot more money when people are sick. Okay, so we are still at the the Alamo, presented by Strickland Propane. And apparently the run through is over. The guy looks at Hank and goes, "Oh, that was perfect. Now, once again, from the top, we're angry, we're drunk, we're slaveholders, and action." Hank says, no, not action. What the hell are you doing to our Alamo? Everybody gets kind of hushed, and he goes, you've got William B. Travis in a dress. He goes, Hank, it's a little late to step in with your roles or with your notes. The play starts in half an hour. You could have asked for a script at any time. Well, that's kind of a shitty way out of it. He goes, why would I need to read a script of the Alamo? I know what happened, and I don't know what happened. And I know what didn't happen. He goes, I know William B. Travis didn't put on a dress and try to abandon his men. He goes, how do you know that, Hank? How do you know that when the pressures became too great, William B. Travis didn't try to find comfort and safety in a frilly calico dress? Hank's like, oh, that's it. I'm going to kick your ass. And then I'm going to reenact kicking your ass. That's a good shirt right there. I'm going to kick your ass, and I'm going to reenact kicking your ass.
Or it should just say ass kicking reenactment, and it should just have, like, you know, Assy McGee, where it's just legs and an ass. Yeah. It should just have a field of legs and asses, and then it should have Hank just like going through kicking the field of asses.
I think what you should have is asses that Hank kicked, and then have like a police lineup of the people that he threatened to kick their ass.
That would be good too. Yeah, I like that one.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that.
He goes, I'm going to reenact kicking your ass. The guy says, what were you expecting anyway? The old John Wayne rehash? He goes, yes. What makes you think that vision of the Alamo is any more valid than mine? Historians can't even agree on how many people were at the Alamo. Maybe Davy Crockett wasn't on the pipe, but maybe he was. He was a failed politician, a deeply troubled man. And the lady goes, if Bruce is ever going to get his work taken seriously by people that matter, he needs to show them he's got a new perspective. Well, no, he doesn't really. I mean, it's history.
Yeah.
History's tough. He goes, I think Oliver Stone and his Oscars would agree with her. You know, people like you and the guys at the feed store are always trying to keep me down. Well, it's too late, baby. And he walks off.
Too late.
Hank says, son, turn in your outfit. We're going home. He goes, Dad, I know this Alamo stuff is important to you, but I don't want to get an F and go to summer school. I have to do this. So he sees the guys walk off, right? Well, I guess they hadn't walked off yet, but Dale says, damn revisionists, why can't they ever make history better where we all live in Antarctica and worship the golden penguin? That would be great. I don't know what that means. Is that a thing? Have you ever heard of the golden penguin?
No, I don't think I have.
The only thing I could figure is it's something to do with that dude that found Antarctica first, but I don't know.
A rare golden penguin is a king penguin with yellow gold feathers instead of black and white.
There you go. There you go. We could
More
worship
than 30,000 penguins are golden.
Why does he want to worship the penguin? I don't really understand that.
Yeah, I don't know on that one.
Okay, so the actors are up there still rehearsing. I surrender. That's all you hear is surrender from all these people. Hank says, well, I can't force the schools to teach the Alamo, but maybe I can still stop this travesty. Dale pipes up real quick. He goes, you talking sabotage, Hank? Because if you say sabotage, I'll say, how high? Huh? He picks up a pipe wrench, does Hank, and Dale picks up another tool. They're all ready to just tear this thing down. He goes, all right, let's do it. And then later behind the stage, kids are being seated and all this stuff out there. And he goes, all right, it's 10 minutes to curtain. That doesn't give us much time, but we built this set, so we should know how to wreck it. Bill says, I should have paid more attention. Well, my sledgehammer will figure it out for me. Dale says, yikes. This will shut Tuttle up. They're all trapped inside there like the Alamo volunteers, and we ready here to take care of business like General Santa Anna. And then we see Hank's face. This is that moral turn that we always have in a King of the Hill show.
Oh, yeah.
Hank realizes they've got every right to say what they're saying. I've got every right to say what I'm saying. He knows the kids are out in the audience and that kind of stuff. And he realizes, shit, I'm just mad. And this is not something we can do. He says, nope. Dale continues and goes, it's not like we're going to kill people, just ideas. And Hank's like, okay, well, we can't shut this thing down just because we don't like what they're saying. Bill, one of the best quotes, I feel like the fun's slowing down. He walks off.
I feel like the fun is slowing down. That's a good That's a good shirt. There you go.
He goes over to see the director, and he goes, "Hank, what are you doing with the sledgehammer?" "Oh, I get it. Well, you can't censor me." Hank says, "I'm not going to stop your show, Bruce. I'm just going to set the stage." And so he walks out on the stage. Dale grabs the trumpet from the guy and goes, and Hank is talking to the crowd now. He says, "I know there are a lot of details in history that are up for grabs, like what Jim Bowie was thinking about right before he died, or whether Davy Crockett surrendered. But these are the undisputed facts. In March of 1836, nearly 200 men volunteered so that Texas could become a republic." Bobby's listening to him, and you can tell that Bobby's like, "Oh, shit, okay, my dad's kind of cool." And he goes, "Even though they were undertrained, outnumbered, and completely surrounded, they fought on and died for what they believed in. And I've always found that inspiring." And then he just walks off, and all the other guys walk off with him. So he said his piece, and he walked. And that's the way it ought to be, right?
He said, "I got this, I got to say," and that's it.
And then Davy Crockett, the drunk Davy Crockett, comes running out and goes, "Is that a messenger bringing news from General Houston?" And then Bobby comes out and says, "Sir, Santa Anna's men outnumber us by the thousands." And that's when he sees his dad and his friends all walking away. Ghetto Cowboy does have a point here, though. Huge miss by not having Cotton show up to tear everything up. Because Cotton would tear everything up. He would not need a sledgehammer either. He says his part, Bobby says his part in the play. And then another guy on the stage is like, "If this siege continues, I may have to surrender sober." I mean, they have taken a big swing here at Texas history, right?
Huge swing.
It is not great. Later the next day, we're in the Hill kitchen. Hank's standing in front of the refrigerator. He comes up and goes, "Hey, Dad, you're going to have to sign this. I failed Texas history." He goes, "What? After going through with that jackass play?" He goes, "Yeah, but I wrote in my book. It's an automatic F." He goes, "Oh, Bobby, the Alamo." He looks in the book, and it says, "The Alamo in March of," and Bobby kind of stops him, and he goes, "I wanted to make sure kids after me knew about the Alamo." He goes, "Well, since you're going to summer school anyway, why don't you skip class tomorrow? I'll take you to Six Flags. It's called Six Flags Over Texas because Texas was governed by 6 different sovereign nations." They're kind of walking off together. There's Texas, America, Mexico, France. I don't know how France got in there. And then we get our credits. And that is,
I actually have a quick fact for those of you that are ever traveling in Austin. You could go see what they call the French Legation site. It's a historic site. It's a historic site here in Texas or whatever, but it's one of the oldest houses in Austin. It actually opened up in 1841. It was a home, but it was also a diplomatic outpost for the guy who was in charge of French affairs to the Republic of Texas. His name was Alphonse Dubois. And after France recognized the Republic of Texas as a sovereign nation, that it was like their almost kind of like their French embassy for the Republic of Texas.
It's crazy to think that other nations used to have embassies inside Texas. That's kind of crazy. By the way, I did skip a scene here. At the end, we're in the classroom. And we're seeing a bunch of the Flat Stanley pictures. One, he's got tire spikes through him. Second, he's going through a wood chipper. Third, you see dogs tearing him up, and it is Ladybird and Doggy. Then fourth, you see him burning on the street. And then right on top of that, you get a headshot of Nancy, and it says, "Dare to Dream." Nancy hits Gribble. Teacher turns to the principal and goes, "I think this will be the last year we do Flat Stanley." And that's it. Then we get our credits. Now, after the credits, in the script, it says, "Hank, Bobby's making me uncomfortable again." But on Hulu, it says, "I feel the fun slowing down," which I think is actually better. It's the first time I've kind of agreed with them changing the quote at the end there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty funny.
That is it. That is season 8, episode 17, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Alamo.
Yep, that's it.
I want to thank you guys for sticking with us no matter what we do. It is it's so nice. It's so nice to show up and see you guys back in the room. Next week, we're going to try to do it out of the studio for the first time in a long time, if we can. If not, we'll do it like this again. No big deal. But the studio is being renovated. I don't know. Just to remind you guys, we moved all of our studios out of the the Alamo building here, and we moved into about 4,000 square feet down the road just a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean like 1 minute down the road. And we're still building out the studios. And so I told Rusty was willing to go into the studio today. And I said, no, let's do it remote, because I don't know if they're in their building or if, what's going on. So last couple of weekends, I've had this place completely shut down so that they could do some construction if they needed to. But anyway, that's why we're doing it this way. And thank you guys for sticking with us. Last week was a little rough on both of us. And so
appreciate you guys.
Yeah. But Rusty, you want to tell us where they can find them?
Yeah, they can find us at BWAAAKOTH on all social media, and send in some emails. I got an email to read for our Friday episode.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. If you are in the chat or you are watching us do this live, then stick around. We're going to do another episode. And I think that leaves us just with maybe one thing left to say.
Oh, we Matanye.
I agree. We Matanye indeed.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.